Let's watch Fox News liberal Jessica Tarlov on the 5 talking about Democrats, the recent Washington Post freakout, and dispelling some of the narratives her MAGA co-hosts attempt to spread in the meantime, and we'll jump back in with the needed context.
The endorsement was ready to go. The same thing at the LA Times and USA Today, and that it was ownership supplanting what was supposed to be the power of the editorial board and the people who actually run the paper, and that they feel like that Bezos's decision, or the family that owns the LA Times, is not reflective of actually the people who work at the paper. And you've seen mass resignations from these editorial boards, reporters extremely upset. And when you cut your subscription, I should say, like Jeff Bezos, the money doesn't really matter to him. You are hurting the reporters who are doing amazing work and winning Pulitzers and all of that. Now, Bezos has said that he did not know that on the same day that he made this decision, there was a meeting with the Trump Vance team about Blue Origin. And that was something that people were saying, like, is this because people are hedging their bets, right? They're thinking Trump may win, and I want to be able to do business with him. And I know that Trump is a grievance machine.
Now, this is actually something interesting we've seen in multiple different facets, right? With unions as well, where Kamala didn't get the Teamsters endorsement from the president, but over 80% of the union, over 1 million people of 1.5 million total, still endorsed her through their local charters. Now, in these massive papers, the editorial boards all want to endorse her, but the owners, the Jeff Bezos and others, are saying no. And I think it speaks to two really important and distinct things. One is the fear that Trump places in institutions, where the fear to even kind of go against him in case he wins because of what he might do if you're unfavorable to him, with him threatening to sue media that's been unfavorable to him, to have licenses revoked. I mean, this is quite literally fascism unfolding before our eyes, where we're seeing major corporations not wanting to endorse Kamala Harris, not even wanting to put out stories that could even be true stories that are seen in a negative light about Trump because of what may happen, which effectively allows Trump to control the narrative. That is the first and core step of fascism. The other point that I think is also interesting to make here is that those who make the bulk of the money, right, the wealthy, from the union president to the corporate owners, these are the people who aren't wanting to endorse Kamala, who are signaling support of Trump in some instances. However, the workers are like disproportionately, in terms of the editorial boards, in terms of the local charters of the unions, are saying no, like Democrats clearly have the better policies for us, which shows how it's the wealthy that favors Trump. They don't care about the working class. Those in the middle understand Kamala's policies will favor them instead.
One side is miserable, the other side isn't. Is that just constant? Like, why is it that, like if Trump loses, our viewers will be sad. They might even take it hard, but they always bounce back because their lives are prioritized. You got family, friends, work, spirituality. Politics is downstream from that, but for the Dems, it's upstream. So it affects family, it affects friends, work, spirituality. And because the ideology of leftism is about power, oppress versus oppressor, that means every relationship is transactional.
I had to add this clip in because I thought it was hilarious. Like, oh, if Trump supporters lose, they'll just get over it and bounce back like they always do. Sir, we've seen Trump lose and his supporters rioted at the Capitol, attacked police officers, tried to pressure Mike Pence into breaking the Constitution for Trump, and have spent the last 4 years since crying that it was stolen, that it was rigged, and that they need to split America on political lines because they can no longer get along with Democrats. All because they lost. They're all just doing that because they can't cope with the fact they lost. Democrats lost in 2016, and you didn't see nearly this vitriolic reaction. They literally did just move on. So it's like, where is this comparison coming from? First off, as to letting disagreements affect your personal life, I think it depends on what the disagreement is about, right? If we disagree over tax policy, no, like we can still kick it, I promise you. But if our disagreements are centered around you, I don't know, spreading some of the racist propaganda that Trump shares, yeah, that might affect our relationship a bit. That's called having a moral standard, something I'm not surprised is lost upon MAGA. Now, this kind of response to me is wild, given the wild crybaby nature that MAGA has to go on and pretend like they're the big kids in the political room or something, yet again, still crying about an election 4 years ago and making up conspiracies rather than contending with the truth. Can we please just get out and vote and make sure that we crush these losers again?